Hello guys, NautoAisDx here, and I want to give my thoughts on Power Ranger Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge. Yes, if you don't know what's going on and you're a Power Ranger fan, is that ever since Power Ranger Samurai is that Saban's Power Ranger shows are in Nickelodeon. Sadly to say, the requirement from Nickelodeon is they can only do 28 episodes per season. Thus, they have to separate the two seasons, like Samurai, Super Samurai, Mega Force, Super Mega Force, and now Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge. I mean, I don't really like that. I think it's kind of bull. I would prefer them just to basically have all the seasons, at least on Netflix. But unfortunately for the next one, Ninja Steel will also have Super Ninja Steel because they'll still be with Nickelodeon. I don't really agree with it, but that's about decision. So that's a little minor gripe for me about the Power Ranger. I do like watching the Power Ranger, or of course its original version, Super Sentai. So, but this particular vlog is, I want to give my thoughts on, Power Ranger Dino Charge. It's basically, if you're a Power Ranger super fan, Sentai fan, it's an sort of I'll say a bit of an adaptation to Koryuger, but it actually has an original story than, of course, Koryuger. And what do I think about it? I say it's actually one of the better seasons I actually enjoy watching. Because Samurai and Super Samurai, unfortunately, the storyline didn't really develop well, in my opinion, and they were actually using the Japanese Shikenja storyline, just Americanize it. It just didn't work this time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do prefer that. I did talk about this before. Power Ranger, Time Force, and Wild Force actually worked. I don't know why it didn't work with Samurai. And of course, don't get me started with the 20th anniversary of Power Ranger with Mega Force and Super Mega Force. Using both Gosenger and Gokaiger's footage to make one season celebrating 20th anniversary. It wasn't even that good, sadly, because the producer to it, Jonathan Schachter, basically, I don't believe he's the right person to do it because, well, a lot of people have said this. It's sort of a cheapskate. So to some extent, he kind of hesitant adding Alumni Power Ranger in the anniversary season. But again, different story. Everybody knows it's one of the weakest one, and because of it, Saban did hire Chip Lin. I forget his real name, but they call him Chip Lin, and he also worked in Power Ranger in some of them. One best one he did was Power Ranger RPM. Way different. It's an adaptation of Gonger. Way different. The settings was way different. And it worked. The storyline was actually good. That's what Chiplin did. Of course, he did Dino Charge. He partially did Super Dino Charge. That's why, sad to say, like the end of the season, I was like so. But the whole show itself, Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge, was actually good. Minus the filler, the storyline was actually good. It had an original American villain, Power Ranger villain, that I actually liked it more than a Koryuger villain. So, like, one of my favorite, like, Sledge, oh my god, like, I can't stop watching Sledge. As a bad guy, he was actually like, oh my god, this guy's like, wow. And the reason why I say that, because in Japan, if you compare it to Koryuger, of course, Chaos, the guy looks like a Statue of Liberty, they call him the Dark Priest Chaos of the Devos Army. Supposed to be the bad guy. And he's not so much of a fighter. He's more of a, like, I guess, sorcerer or dark priest. Basically, that's what he is. So he doesn't physically fight. That's why you have Dogol in America, Fury, and there's Kamalina, I guess that's her, Kamalita. That her American version is Posandra, and then wrench, and forget. I think in Japan it's something like agrigano. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard, but the thing is also they're basically supposed to be again. Korean are their soldiers, devil soldiers, or yes, little soldiers. Yeah, in Korean they were called like Doggold is the soldier of fury, Agrigano is the soldier of sorrow, and Kamalina or Carmelina, I guess that's her name, is the soldier of joy. But in America, they just disregard that. They're just basically sledges. Uh, I guess right men, advisor, and of course the other one is fiance. And the thing is that Dogold or Fury is supposed to be like the warrior type. That's like your warrior of the group. But in they kind of changed that in Power Ranger, with of course you have a finesse warrior which is Fury, but of course you got Sledge, who's a brute but knows how to fight because he's a bounty hunter. So that's another thing. Also, the story was way off than a Goryuger, like a little bit, and it worked. Chiplin made it work. One is rather than trying to steal people's emotion, it's just you got this greatest bounty hunter. He captured a lot of bounties. People fear him, and now he wants the Dino Energem, and he's willing to compromise now with the bounties to say, get me the Energem, and you get your freedom. And of course, they don't. They they die. They get destroyed. So yeah, so that's basically the premise for Dino Charge. Then, like I said, the season itself was pretty good until a little bit at the end, which a lot of the characters, I guess, I felt like need more push. It wasn't, such as Lord Arcanon, which is Chaos, supposed to be more powerful than Sledge, according to Ranch. But of course, thanks to the Dark Energon, they got destroyed. Sadly, didn't come back. I mean, I felt like they needed more push along with Singe. And there was supposed to be two other devils that were supposed to replace. Well, in Japan, I'm surprised they didn't use the actual devils general. They used like their human disguise counterparts. Again, I'm just guessing that because they didn't have time, because again, they only had to do 20. Maybe it'll be nice if they do like a Dino Charge movie. They kind of did it with Samurai, Clash of the Red Ranger. They did whatever they could, but whatever. Different story there. Yeah, but of course, in the end, of course, the ultimate package is always going to be Sledge. I mean, the way they did it, kind of like a cop-out, but again, it's for kids. It's not really meant, remember, the show's meant for kids, not for adults. You may be a super fan, but you have to understand it's really meant for kids. That's always been what Power Ranger is. It's for kids, not so much for adults. But as for the storyline, like I said, it's a bit good. I mean, if you say, well, it's kind of cheesy. Well, as Jason David Frank would say, kids like kids like cheesy stuff because kid likes macaroni and cheese. Kind of makes sense because when I was a kid, when I started watching the original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, I didn't understand it was cheesy. It was like, oh, cool robots, cool monster, yeah, that's the point. So yeah, overall, Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge, I think the story overall was good. The ending probably needed more work. Some of the characters, some of the villains needed more fleshed out. Yeah, and like I said, one of my favorite characters there is Slash. And another one I'm surprised I forgot to mention was Snide. And that's a shocker because again, if you're a kid just like Power Ranger, you just into Power Ranger, then you're not probably going to understand this. But if you're a Super Sentai fan, is what people don't know is that Snide in Japan is Neo Zeltrak, or I don't know what his Japanese name. And if you heard of the name Zeltrak, it's a villain from Dino Thunder, but in Japan it's called Upper Ranger. And if you watch the movie Koryuger vs. Go Buster, the crossover movie in Japan for Super Sentai, they brought back Goldar, that I forget his name. I think it's Griffenzor in Japan, from Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, aka U Rangers. So, and of course, the other one is supposed to be Zeltrak or Neo Zeltrak. and they're supposed to have a new makeover. But they actually used this guy as an original villain called Snide. Best part is that it's the reason why Snide, because his counterpart is called Heckle, which is, if you've seen it, it's like his human counterpart. Apparently, spoiler here, they're from Sentai 6. And it's basically Jekyll and Hyde. You got a finesse, I guess. One is a finesse warrior that uses a sword, and the other one is basically, I guess say like a, I guess I'm just saying power user, like uses magic user, something like that. I don't know. So that's also an interesting that they actually use a villain from the movie as an original villain. So that's also cool. So Snide have to be my second favorite villain there. Sledge, of course, because very original, pretty interesting. So if I would rate this Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge combined, I would give it an 8 out of 10 because even though they use core user material, it has an original storyline and it actually worked. Like I said, I'm also a fan of using Sentai storyline, but after Super Samurai, it was kind of a little bit short and shoddy. I can understand why it didn't really work. But the original storyline had an original villain, Sledge. I mean, supposed to be, I guess, either a counter to Lord Arc or Chaos or Lord Arcanine or Debos. I'm just guessing there. So, yeah, so I give it an 8 out of 10. Now, interesting enough, also, I just want to give my thoughts a little bit on it. There was a teaser trailer for Ninja Steel. And apparently, the premise is it's a sort of a Japanese game show in outer space, and they're doing a game show against the Power Ranger Ninja Steel. Okay, we'll see what it is. But it shows some clips, or not like still picture. One thing I noticed is that the ultimate bad guy from Ninja Steel, forget his name in Japan because I barely watched Ninja. Okay, show, but I don't know. Anyway, the ultimate bad guy normally he doesn't come in the end. That's basically it. It's one of those premises that the bad guy doesn't come until the end because he's stuck somewhere. They need some evil power, evil energy resource to make him get out. You get the idea, but apparently in this one, he's some of the main villain already. And it's the host. Well, I'm guessing the host or the chairman. I'm just gonna guess. And some people did say, and I kind of noticed, there's a villain from Tokyo, which is there's a Sentai series or season before that came before the Ninja. And the guy name is, if you're a Super Sentai fan, is Baron Nero, supposed to be the Dark Shadow clan. That's what the story is. He has a top hat and he had like some sort of beak mask. And apparently, again, no one knows if it is or not. I'm gonna assume it's maybe he's the host. Makes sense, you know, you got your top hat, you got a cane, you know, like a circus, the ringmaster. So that's what I'm gonna guess. That's what Baron Nero is. Again, it's not gonna come out until February 2017. They showed, like I said, like a teaser from Morphicon 2016. But it'll be interesting to see what it is. Hopefully it can match to what Koryuger or Dino Charge did. I don't know if Chiplin is involved in this one, but they have said it's going to be, again, an original storyline rather than following Super Sentai storyline. Well, there you go. That's my thoughts on the Power Ranger Dino Charge. The season itself, I think it's pretty good. And a little bit of a early impression from a teaser trailer, Ninja Steel. So with that, thanks for listening. That's it for now. I'll see you guys later. Bye.